If anything happens to me, don't trust the silence around it. That was the cryptic message allegedly left by Hollywood legend Rob Reiner in a final phone call that friends now say has become chillingly significant. Was it fear, instinct, or something deeper? No one knows for sure, because just a short time later, Reiner, his wife Michelle Singer Reiner, and the Hollywood world were thrust into a nightmare no one saw coming. Los Angeles Times. Before we continue, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell for updates. By now, the tragic news has broken across every major outlet. The acclaimed director and his wife were found dead in their Los Angeles home, and their son has been arrested in connection with their deaths. This isn't just a story about fame or tragedy. It is a deeply human tale of fame, family, struggle, and the questions that will haunt a generation. Los Angeles Times. On Sunday, December 14, 2025, emergency responders were called to a luxurious estate in the Brentwood neighborhood of Los Angeles. When they arrived, they found two bodies. Authorities later confirmed the deceased were Rob Reiner, 78, and his wife, Michelle Singer Reiner, 68. Los Angeles Times. According to law enforcement sources, both victims suffered fatal stab wounds, and the scene was treated as a homicide. AP News. Their daughter, Romy Reiner, reportedly found the bodies and called 911. People.com. Hours after the discovery, their son, Nick Reiner, 32, was arrested and is being held without bail on suspicion of murder. AP News. In the quiet, tree-lined streets of Brentwood, known for celebrities, film icons, and political leaders, a sudden tragedy had unfolded that no one could have prepared for. Los Angeles Times. But this heartbreaking discovery was just the opening chapter of a story that has gripped the world. Clapperboard, who was Rob Reiner, and why the world still cares. To understand the shock, you have to understand the man. Rob Reiner wasn't just another Hollywood name. He was a giant in American cinema. He rose to fame as Michael "Meathead" Stivic on the groundbreaking sitcom All in the Family. Wikipedia. He directed beloved films like This Is Spinal Tap, Stand By Me, The Princess Bride, When Harry Met Sally, A Few Good Men, and more. Wikipedia. His work spanned decades and genres, blending humor, heart, and insight into the human experience. Wikipedia. Reiner's career influenced audiences around the globe, from teenagers on their first film obsession to college students quoting The Princess Bride verbatim, to adults who found wisdom and laughter in everyday life on screen. Wikipedia. Michelle Singer Reiner, his wife of more than 3 decades, was also a creative force, a photographer, film producer, and political activist whose contributions complemented her husband's in work and life. AP News. Even now, colleagues, friends, and fans are struggling to describe their loss in words. A family in the spotlight, from triumph to tragedy. At first glance, the Reiner family seemed like a Hollywood success story. A legendary filmmaker and his accomplished wife. AP News. 3 children, Romy, Jake, and Nick. People.com. A life surrounded by creative achievement and cultural influence. People.com. But beneath that public image were struggles that often go unseen. Battles with addiction, mental health, and the pressures of life in the limelight. People.com. Their son Nick, in particular, had a long battle with substance abuse that was widely known. It was even the inspiration for the semi-autobiographical film Being Charlie, which he co-wrote with his father in 2015, a raw, honest look at addiction and the complex bonds between a father and son. People.com. But even with that context, no one expected what happened next. The rumored last phone call from Rob Reiner grabbed the attention of Hollywood insiders. If anything happens to me, don't trust the silence around it. Whether it was said in humor or foresight, the line has taken on eerie meaning in light of what we now know. Friends and collaborators have described the statement as characteristic of Reiner's quick wit, but also reflective of his deep concern for truth and transparency in life. But what did he really mean? Was it a joke? A comment taken out of context? Or was it a subtle cry for attention that, in retrospect, echoes with a tragic irony? That's exactly the kind of question that keeps people up at night. And yet, despite that message now circulating online, there's no official confirmation from law enforcement or family about the phone call's content or timing. Rumors swirl, and where there's smoke, the public imagination runs wild. But the only verified facts remain the deaths, the investigation, and the arrest. Los Angeles Times. So let's explore the facts we can confirm, and then look at what they might tell us about how a beloved artist's life ended. Here are the key points verified by multiple major news outlets. Small Blue Diamond Rob Reiner and Michelle Singer Reiner were found dead in their Los Angeles home on December 14, 2025. Los Angeles Times. Small Blue Diamond, both victims suffered fatal stab wounds, and police are investigating their deaths as homicide. AP News. Small Blue Diamond Nick Reiner, the couple's son, was arrested and remains in custody, with bail reportedly set at millions. AP News. Small Blue Diamond sources say an argument occurred the night before the deaths at a holiday party, though no official motive has been released. People.com. Small Blue Diamond. The case is now with prosecutors, who are expected to formally charge Nick in the coming days. Reuters. Yet beyond these verified points, the story remains shrouded in question marks. Open threads that have turned this tragedy into one of the most talked about cultural moments of the year. When a public figure dies, we often try to make sense of it through the lens of their work, the art they leave behind. But when that death involves family tragedy and an arrest, we instinctively try to understand the human behind the headlines. Here are 3 reflections that many people are now wrestling with. 1. Legacy versus reality. Rob Reiner gave the world laughter, storytelling, and cinematic heart. But even legends have flaws, pressures, and painful personal chapters. 2. The complexity of addiction and mental health. Nick's history with addiction was real and documented, and for years the family navigated it publicly and privately. But addiction does not equal violence, and no one's struggle should be reduced to stereotype alone. 3. The gap between perception and pain. To fans, Reiner was larger than life. To his family, he was a husband, father, and human being. That duality is at the heart of why this story is so captivating and so heartbreaking. While the pain of loss is deeply personal to the Reiner family, there are broader lessons here that resonate with all of us, regardless of fame. Lightbulb 1. Never ignore a quiet warning. Sometimes things said in jest may carry real meaning, especially when they come from someone who has lived a long life and lived it loudly. Lightbulb 2. Mental health and family support matter. Even families with resources and access struggle. Asking for help is strength, not weakness. Lightbulb 3. Compassion should outlast curiosity. It's natural to be curious about motives, about what happened, about why. But real empathy acknowledges pain without exploiting it. Speaking ahead, what Hollywood, fans, and leaders are saying. Already, reactions have poured in from every corner. Performing arts actors, directors, and colleagues have expressed shock and grief at the loss of an industry titan. The Guardian. Cityscape Los Angeles officials have called the deaths a devastating blow to the cultural fabric of the city. ABC 7 Los Angeles. Dove public figures and activists have honored Reiner's legacy of film, advocacy, and social engagement. The Guardian. But beyond the tributes lies a community grappling with a very human question. How does a family of bright lights end up in such darkness? What comes next in the investigation? As of this writing, prosecutors are preparing to file formal charges against Nick Reiner based on evidence developed by the LAPD's Homicide Division. Reuters. Police have not publicly shared a motive. AP News. Family members continue to request privacy as they process grief and legal complexities. People.com. Every update will be watched closely, not just by Hollywood, but by a global audience trying to make sense of an unfathomable loss. At its core, this isn't just a celebrity tragedy. It's a human story about love and expectation, struggle and identity, family complexities, what it means to be human in an imperfect world. We often think of legends like Rob Reiner as untouchable, but in the end, they're as vulnerable as